Hello everybody, Namaste. In the last lecture of 8th module, today we will discuss on coconut and cashew processing. The concept that will be covered in today's lecture include coconut processing steps like cleaning, dehusking, waxing, nut splitting, etc. Traditional and novel value added products made from coconut like coconut milk and desiccated coconut, coconut water, tender coconut, and we will also discuss something about coconut industry in India, its strength, constraints and what are the various possibilities, and finally we will discuss the cashew nut processing, which is another very important product. Coconut, Cocos nucifera. It belongs to the palm family, which is one of the largest in the monocotyledon group. Coconut is described as one of the nature's greatest gift to man. Every part of the coconut palm can be used for food, functional materials and ornamental purposes. Indonesia, Philippines, India and Sri Lanka are the major coconut producing countries in the world. If you look at the cross section of the coconut fruit, you will see that it has a smooth waxy epidermis, a fibrous mesocarp and a ligneous endocarp. A brown testa surrounds the seed, which encloses a white layer of the meat that yields copra oil and an opalescent liquid coconut water. So, the processing of coconut primary processing, you can see that the matured coconut are harvested manually by the palm tree or coconut tree, okay, using hand implements. Okay. The farmers are they have to rise on the tree or plant and then manually they cut these coconuts, tender coconut. Okay. Then it is taken and subjected to traditional method of dehusking. Okay. Traditionally again either manually or with manual hand operated equipment, etc. They dehusk, remove the outer husk and then the dehusk coconut is shelled, that is put to next deselling operation where the fibrous part outer is removed and hard covering which contains this is also removed manually and one gets the deselled coconut as you can see here in the figure. Okay. But this is a very tedious operation. Okay. So, various value added products of coconut include that the tender coconut is taken, that is from the coconut palm tree, the inflorescence, and this inflorescence gives the sap. Okay, that you see that manually they put some container earthen pot, etc., where the sap is collected, and this sap is a very good natural beverage. It contains lot of micronutrients, etc., and health beneficial components. But the major problem with the sap is that as soon as sun rays fall on it, its alcoholic fermentation takes place and this sap is converted into toddy, that is the alcoholic beverages. Otherwise, this what the farmers they do early morning they go, they collect this sap and this sap is used for the preparation of coconut jaggery or even it is used for the fermentation and preparation of vinegar. Okay. Next is that this coconut, once after tender coconut is obtained from the plant and this tender coconut is used for making tender coconut water and then the outer, that is the malai portion or the white meat, soft meat which is there inside the coconut, it is used for either making chips or also used in the ice cream product, etc., for mixing. Then the mature coconut which is obtained, the mature coconut again it is used for making water, okay, or then coconut water, which is converted into nata de cocoa, or the meaty portion is used, is maybe desiccated coconut. It can be dried and made desiccated coconut powder, or it can be used to make coconut milk. Okay, coconut milk is dried and it makes coconut milk powder, or even it can be used for extraction of oil, that is virgin coconut oil. Or here this meat can also be desiccated coconut or milk and coconut flour. So these are one set of the product. Other set of the product may be that this copra is used for expressing that is RBD oil or making copra cake. So you see, these are the different various set of products which can be used from the coconut fruit, which can be prepared from the coconut fruit. Here it is given a general schematic flow chart, okay, for the making various or processing of coconut products. An overview, that is a young coconut transported to the processing site, and then coconut is used in the bunches, etc., and in the processing side, when in the industry it comes, it is used for quality checking, deep fruit quality checking, and after it is checked quality, then it is next sent to the processing line, where first trim, second trim, dip in SMB, and then shrink and wrap boxes, etc. That is the that is coconut fruit inner material is taken and it is stored at 4 degrees Celsius. Okay, and then coconuts for local exports and market it is used. Okay. Otherwise also what you can do, that is some portion which is it can be sent for the next operation, like directly here it is washed, then it is cut manually, either manually it is cut or it is cut automated equipment, or they are cutting equipments, and then coconut, it is pressed for coconut water, and coconut water is fermented and converted into nata de cocoa product. Okay. So these are the actually in this line 3 major products: coconut water, nata de cocoa, and coconut, whole coconut for individual use or local use or other purpose. It is a little bigger scenario. There is the same processing step. At a glance it is given, where the various products like nata de cocoa, then coconut water, coconut water concentrate, it is subjected to concentration process, concentrated, and then coconut beverage, that is water can be further mixed with other components, etc. It can be converted into a beverage, or coconut milk powder, full fat coconut milk powder, skim coconut milk, or virgin coconut oil, or low fat desiccated coconut. It can be made from white meat residue, or even virgin coconut oil or animal feed from the brown meat residue, okay, desiccated coconut or RBD oil. So these are the various products which are prepared from the coconut for food consumption or for that is animal feed consumption, and the root is given here. Okay. Apart from that, is also can be like coconut water or animal feed, etc. Some of the waste products which also has the valuable food. Okay. Then these are the various overview of the coconut processing is shown here. Okay. Now let us see at least a few important product. What are they? The tender coconut water. So it is the liquid endosperm of a tender coconut at an age of approximately 9 months from the time of pollination, the period before the solid endosperm or white meat are formed. That is the one period which contains the liquid coconut water, tender coconut water we say, that inside the meaty portion is not formed. So tender coconut water is obviously a very, very good source, natural source of electrolyte, minerals, vitamins, complex carbohydrates, amino acids, and many other micronutrients. It is rich in potassium and other minerals. You can see here in this figure that is even it has around 106 milligram percent of the iron per 100 ml. Okay. Glucose content is maximum in 7 months old nuts, and hence it is best stage for the drinking. This makes coconut water particularly suitable for even versioning sport drink market. It's a coconut water, it's a protein also very less, but fat content maybe 0.01%, mineral 0.6, it's reducing sugar 4.4%, total solid 6.5%, and potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, phosphorus or iron, copper, these are present in the significant quantity in the tender coconut water. Okay. So, for processing of tender coconut water, because obviously once it is taken out of the coconut, tender coconut, that it is very highly perishable. It will be immediately oxidized and acted upon by the microorganism, etc. So, it has to be properly processed and maybe packaged to improve, to have retain its color and its valuable components, and also to extend its shelf life. So, hurdle technology concept is used, okay, that is where two or more hurdles in combination could effectively restrict browning, enzyme and microbial growth while maintaining the quality during storage, because this contains enzymes and other things, its flavor immediately oxidizes, enzymatic browning, etc. takes place. So, maybe acidification where ascorbic acid, citric acid, malic acid, or addition of antimicrobial additives like potassium metabisulfite or potassium sorbate. Then mild heat treatment, maybe 50 degrees Celsius temperature for about 20 minutes or so, or two-stage microfiltration, that is using 0.8 micron and 0.45 micron membranes. And this helps, and then microfiltration, and finally packaging in the proper container, laminates, etc. So, that will extend its shelf life. So, the processing steps include collection of tender coconut water, upgradation, then pasteurization, addition of some antimicrobial, natural antimicrobial like niacin, etc., or sometimes they add sweeteners also, then filtration, and finally packaging. And in the market, this tender coconut water that processed and packaged are available in different forms, which you can see in this figure. Then coconut milk and cream. Coconut milk refers to the milky fluid that which is obtained from freshly extracted from the coconut kernel. Coconut cream is the high fat material obtained from the coconut milk by either gravitational separation or centrifugation. So, that is after the brown skin is removed, that is it washed the kernel and grating, and by mechanical pressing, okay, that is coconut milk is obtained, and depending upon the total solids content, non-fat solids, fat content, and pH, etc. That is pH in all the case may be 5.9, but the total solids and non-fat solids and fat, these differences, that are the difference, and it makes light coconut milk, coconut cream, and coconut cream concentrate. Like in the total solids content in the light coconut milk should be minimum 6.6 and maximum 12.6. Coconut milk should contain minimum 12.7% mass by mass, the total solids, and maximum 25.3. So, similarly, that even coconut cream 25.4 minimum and 37.3 maximum. Coconut cream concentrate, that is where 37.4% mass by mass minimum. So, similarly, the non-fat solids also in the light coconut milk about 1.6%, coconut milk 2.7, coconut cream 5.4, and coconut cream concentrate 8.4%. So, based on this, that various grades of coconut milk is produced by the industry. Then desiccated coconut, another important product of the coconut industry, which is used in various savory preparations and even various milk based and such other crops like making laddu or many other products. Desiccated coconut is this integrated, as you can see here in the picture, white kernel of the coconut processed under strict hygienic conditions, and it is dried to around less than 3% moisture content, and for over 70 years, as I told you, it is traditionally exported commodity and one of the most important commercial product from coconut. As it is made directly from the coconut meat, desiccated coconut retains the original oil and the protein of a fresh mature coconut. It is a commercially found ingredient in the confectionery industry and many baked food, in chocolate, candies, or even in ice cream, or in many dairy foods. For making desiccated coconut, see that coconut breaking, inspecting, scraping, steam blanching for 10 minutes, followed by soaking in osmotic agent for 24 hours, then separating from osmotic agent, and finally it is dried at 60 degrees Celsius for 4 to 5 hours in a cabinet dryer or in a mechanical dryer, cooling and packaging. Okay. So, to sterilize the meat can be pasteurized at around 80 to 90 degrees Celsius in 2% sodium metabisulfite solution for 20 minutes. It can also be passed through boiling water or subjecting the pieces to meat to live steam in stainless steel blanchers at around 80 degrees Celsius for 5 minutes. The wet meal left after coconut milk can also be used to prepare low fat desiccated coconut. Then coconut oil, another very important product, valuable product of the coconut. So, it is generally classified into two categories. One is the virgin coconut oil, commonly known as VCO, or refined, bleached and deodorized coconut oil, commonly known as RBD oil. Okay. So, VCO is a clear high value oil obtained from the fresh mature kernel of coconut through mechanical or natural means, whereas the RBD coconut oil is obtained from the copra. So, that is the major difference, that is VCO is obtained from the kernel of the coconut, where the RBD is obtained from copra. Coconut oil is believed to have medical qualities including but not limited to antifungal, antioxidant, antibacterial, antiviral, hepatoprotective, low glycemic index and immune system enhancement. It contains around 2.6 to 3% less calories as compared to other fats, as it provides various health benefits to human body. It helps in controlling blood sugar level, as it preserves insulin action and insulin resistance. It also helps in preventing liver diseases by reversing hepatostesis. Okay. In the traditional method, the coconut oil is extracted from copra. There is copra can be obtained by separating the coconut meat from the whole coconut shell, followed by sun drying and smoke drying for about 6 to 8 days, as you can see here in the picture. That is the copra is obtained, and then this copra is chopped to a small size and cooked by heating the small pieces of copra in a cooker for about 30 minutes, and then this cooked mass in the expeller or such other pressers it is used. Oil is squeezed out from the copra by an expeller and then filtered by a filter press to get the clear oil. Okay. So, various other extraction method like can be used for getting the virgin coconut oil, like cold extraction process, where the chilled coconut milk is used and extracted solid phase, then centrifuged to obtain oil. In the hot extraction process, coconut milk is heated and then passed through a muslin cloth, pressed through a muslin cloth. Okay. Then low pressure extraction, in this process coconut meat is dried and placed into a low pressure fabricated manual press and then sent to the centrifugation to separate oil. In the natural fermentation method, hot water is added to the coconut milk before container is converted and left for 2 days, and then the oil separated oil is used. Enzymatic extraction can also be used where it mixes different types of enzymes into the coconut milk and which separates the oil. Centrifugation process, coconut milk is placed in centrifuge and it is centrifuged, the oil is separated, virgin oil is obtained. Supercritical fluid carbon dioxide. In this process, dried and graded coconut meat is charged with continuous flow of supercritical carbon dioxide and liquid carbon dioxide and which extracts the oil. Expeller pressing, very commonly used method, where coconut fluid are squeezed by the expelling machine, screw expelling machines. Okay. So, here a integrated processing line for coconut, for manufacturing coconut milk, coconut oil, both virgin oil and RBD oil, and then desiccated coconut. Okay. So, you see the raw material dehusked and the husk can be used for coir fiber, rope and cockpit making. So, after dehusking the coconut is obtained, it is subjected to cell removing and this cell can be used for making activated charcoal, etc. Then decelled material coconut, then it is subjected to testa removing where coconut fruit is obtained. This coconut fruit is maybe converted into coconut water, it can be used in soft drinks or coconut, and then again coconut fruit is desiccated and after that HF coconut powder and HF coconut powder, it can be used for milk extraction, clarifier, centrifugation, and finally virgin coconut oil or milk drink, that is a Tetra Pak they are using this, or even HF coconut powder, that is after milk extraction, this milk can be concentrated LF coconut powder, then dried, then LFDC or HFDC, that is this high fat desiccated coconut powder or low fat desiccated coconut powder. So, basically in this process you see HFDC, LFDC, VCO, milk drink, vinegar, soft drink, coconut water, these are the various in the products. So, in a integrated unit all this, and yellow line shows the processing system and this green line shows the end products for sale. Okay. Then nata de coco, that nata de coco is a gelatinous dessert with a clear, smooth and chewy texture. It is composed of cellulose produced by the action of acetic medium called Acetobacter xylem on coconut water or diluted coconut milk. See here in the picture, that is the nata de coco, these cubes. Nata from the fresh liquid endosperm of the matured coconut is collected and filtered by using cheesecloth. It is then pasteurized after adding 8% sucrose, about 0.5% ammonium sulfate and adjusting the pH to a level of 4.5 by adding acetic acid. The medium is developed by inoculating Acetobacter aceti at 10% and incubated at room temperature for about 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, a gel-like mass is developed with a film-like layer on the top. This film is then removed and the mass is cleaned and cut into cubes, and these cubes, which are known as nata, are further processed to improve the color, flavor and taste by soaking it on the sugar syrup. Okay. Now, let us see coconut industry. In fact, India accounts about 22.34% of the total world coconut production, and it is one of the major player in the world coconut market. Coconut, currently the crop grown is 1.91 million hectare with an annual production of nearly 13,000 million tons. Okay. But nearly 90% of the total production is only mainly from the southern states, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra. Okay. And coconut industry, however, is a very labor intensive industry. It alleviates poverty and generates employment, especially among the weaker section of the society. Okay. So, strengths and potentials of coconut industry, that as I told you, India ranks first in the coconut productivity and contribute more than 30% of the world production. but despite almost all the coconut produced in the country is consumed domestically. So there is a big potential to boost export of the coconut. 50% of the total coconut production is used for copra and coconut, 15% for tender coconut, and only 10% for other products. Okay. That presence of India in the international trade of the coconut is negligible at present. The coconut sector has the potential for growth both in the domestic as well as in the overseas trades. Okay. But there are certain constraints faced by the coconut processing industry, both by the farmers as well as when they take the transport, marketing, like pest and disease incidence, nutrient deficiency, high labor cost, lack of institutional support, lack of availability of the good seedlings, okay, or non-adaptation of the scientific cultivation practices. These are some of the major constraints facing the farmers. And then there is a constraint faced by the farmers in marketing of coconut, like high prices, coconut price fluctuation, price driven by the demand of the oil, limited market information on price, or inefficient functioning of the regulated market, high transportation cost, or inadequate storage facility, etc. You see, even the constraint faced by the processors, like low capacity utilization, high price fluctuation, inconsistent supply of raw material, lack of institutional support with respect to promotion of the coconut, or lack of institutional support with respect to credit, etc. So these are some of the constraints, and I think this is a coconut industry this is a very important crop, and every possible effort should be done to boost its export as well as processing and value added product promotion. So now let's discuss another important commercial crop, that is the cashew nut, the cashew nut processing. Cashew nut is made up of a fruit in which the kernel is embedded. You can see here in the figure, the nut is composed of kernel and pericarp or shell. The kernel is slightly curved back on itself and forms two cotyledons. Here, this is the kernel, nuts kernel, two cotyledons, about 20 to 50% of the nut's weight. The kernel is wrapped in a thin, difficult to remove peel, which is called testa, reddish brown membrane, which in turn approximates to about 5% of the whole nut. So in the actual processing, that is so it's two parts, that is one is the cashew apple and the other is nuts. And both the cashew apple is the pseudo fruit soil and hypocarp, and both of these components are important part. Okay. So in the cashew processing, there is different steps which are used for cashew processing. After this cashew nuts is obtained from the tree, okay, raw cashew, see this, how does it look like in the figure, then it is subjected to boiling, where raw cashews are steamed under pressure to soften the shell, okay, and this causes the cashew inside to become loose and easier to remove it. It becomes easy to remove it from it. And then next operation is cutting, that is outer covering, testa, etc. is removed. Each cashew shell is split open longitudinally, and the cashew inside is immediately taken out of by hand or by hand implements. Okay. Then this is next subjected to drying. The skin on the cashews is dried in the oven at low heat for a few hours to loosen the skin, so that the skin covering becomes soft, it loosens out. Okay. So the dried kernels you can see here in the figure. So these dried kernels, then next step is humidifier. Humidifier operation is done to make the kernel up to around 4 to 5% moisture conditioning for better peeling of the skin. So this drying, and after drying it is humidified. So it improves it makes it better for the cleaning operation, removal of the outer cells, etc. So after that, like the peeling operation, the skin of each cashew is removed by the machine, and the cashew is simultaneously visually graded according to the quality. So, see decelled cashew, peeled cashew kernels, you can see here in the figure, and these are also the machines we have shown here. There is cashew nut peeling machines are also available in the market. Okay. Then finally grading, the whole cashew kernels are individually graded by machine according to the count per pound, that is per kg, or what is the count of the kernel per, accordingly grade 1, grade 2, grade 3 is given. Okay, that is kernel grades. There are automatic graders machines. So, humidifier grading. So, processing steps you can say finally steam boiling and cooking, then cashew shell cutting, electrical drying, then humidifying, cashew nut peeling, and then finally grading. Okay. The machinery required for cashew nut processing, you can see here raw cashew nut peeling, pre-cleaning and de-stoning and de-sizing, then the steam boiler and other cooking vessels are shown in picture, then cellar with vibratory sieve and color sorter, finally steam humidity chamber where inside that material after drying is kept and then humid steam is used, is spread. Then finally pneumatic peeling machine with an air compressor and optical color sorter. So, these are the common machinery which is used in the cashew processing plant. So, here it is a process flow chart which is shown in the cashew nut milk processing, where the cashew nut bubbles are taken, the cashew nut, this is sent to the washing machine, elevator, then cashew nut soaking tank, cashew nut tank roasting, it is roasted, and then finally the cashew nut is then selling. So, shelled cashew nut, it may be here the discharge to conveyor, or cashew nut shelled cashew nut is made the cashew nut liquid. So, kernel then it is sent to a drying machine, cashew kernel peeling, kernel washing, and then after washed kernel with the help of elevator is sent to the colloid mill. In the colloid mill, where it is finely ground in the form of paste, vibrate feed speaker, cashew nut milk pulp, and the blending tank. Here this colloidally ground that milk pulp is obtained, and then sugar, emulsifier, other flavors etc. is added. It is mixed here, even RO water, all these things are blended. It is sent to the through a milk pulp, homogenization, then pasteurizer or UST stirrer, then milk degasser. Okay, it is subjected to buffer tank, bottle can filters or retro star. Get cashew nut milk packaging. It is packed properly in the Tetra Pak machine, or after milk degasser, it can also be sent for the carton filling machine or stock. So, these are the different steps operations. Steps involved for preparation of cashew nut milk, starting from the cashew nut, and finally you get the bottled milk, as you can see. Then cashew apple juice processing, another very important. The cashew apple which is obtained, it is made, that is cashew apple in crates is taken, bubble washer and elevator it is sent, and then after a thorough washing, then the cashew apple is sent to the crusher, crushed, and then buffer tank where belt pressure juice extractor. So, from the cashew apple juice is extracted and pomos etc. Pomos is obtained. The pomos is then sent for various made the concentrated cashew apple juice or NFC cashew apple juice or cashew apple cider beverage etc. These are all made, or this can also be made after this RO water etc. is added for making. And then it is also the sent for the alcoholic fermentation, and with the alcoholic fermentation, then filters, estick fermentation, or you see that in the figure it is a feni, very important product which is available in the Goa. That is the feni, is very popular product, very popular beverage, alcoholic beverage which is having characteristic flavor, and it is prepared from the cashew apple. Then these are the some of the product, that is very other product like cashew apple cider or vinegar, NFC cashew apple juice or concentrated cashew apple juice etc. These different products are made from the cashew apple. Okay. Then only there are certain recent development in the cashew processing, because the cold processing of the cashew is the hard, that is the UV and IR sanitation system, that is kernels are passed through IR or UV sanitizing system to eliminate any infestation in kernel and ensuring log reduction or harmful bacterial viral load. Then in cold plasma processing, the cashew nuts are processed by low pressure plasma using glow discharge method, that is which increase the kernel oil and anarchic acid content. In the US and ultrasound and ozone treatment processing, it increases the bioactive component content in the cashew apple juice. The synergy between ultrasound and ozone takes place and in the juice, and it makes the juice microbiologically stable, and it has high flavonoid content. So, overall I can summarize that yes, both coconut and the cashew processing are these both the products are very important. Okay. The coconut is first this coconut is taken and then primary processing operation, but however there is a need for mechanization of the coconut industry. So, this at least coconut pluckers of getting the harvesting the coconut fruits from the long bunches of the plant, there should be some mechanical harvester need to be developed. Okay, some in the institutions are working on it, but still lot more is required to be done. Okay. Cashew nut processing, that is it is a important industry, and various products of the cashew nut, both apple and cashew nut that products are prepared and they are available in the market. Okay. But still there is lot of is required to be done in both these products, because the coconut, as I told, that majority of the coconut is still produced in the country is used in the domestically, and where it has a lot of potential. So, efforts should be made to boost the export of the coconut. So, this I come to the end of this lecture. These are the references which has been used in this. Thank you very much for your patience hearing. Thank you.